it's been so long, it almost feels awkward. And if I haven't done it so much, I probably wouldn't do it. I basically quit the internet, social media, Facebook, YouTube. There wasn't a reason behind it, actually. I was trying to look back recently. Yesterday, I spent some time trying to navigate Facebook. Oh my God. I don't know what it's become, but I couldn't even make it through. I believe it was about this time last year. Yeah, it was. We went on a cruise. I was gifted a cruise by my in-laws, and we went on a family cruise. I just turned the phone off basically for the cruise, and then when I got back, I just kind of left it off. There was no plan. I didn't have a plan to do this. I didn't, I'm going to get off the internet next Friday and not get on for a year. It was not like that. It was just, I just changed some habits. I've always been kind of a chronic life habit changer person. And I'm going to tell you what I've been up to. And there's been a few things, since I've basically ejected. But I'm back. I don't know what kind of content that I'm going to make. I'd like to bring something. I guess I'm just frankly burned out on probably doing paramotor training videos, because that's all I do. I did 2 semesters since I've seen you. I did the spring semester, fall semester. They weren't busy. They were basically half full classes. I think everybody in the whole industry is probably feeling the same effects that I am. There's more of it. It's spread out, and business is less. You're not going to make a fine living doing paramotor school. That's just how it is. My dog's digging up the flower bed. I don't know. It's hard to put words on what happened. I said, you know what? I'm done with it. I didn't delete it or anything like that. I just took it off the homepage of my phone, so I would be tempted to click on it. I don't know if you've ever stopped it for a while, but Facebook will start text messaging you and emailing you when people do things on Facebook, and it's just bait. It's just to get you. Hey, bandit, ain't nothing down there for you. It's just dirt, man. I did get back on it specifically for the eclipse, because I told my family members that were still on Facebook that, if we get to the eclipse, I will let you know by doing a Facebook. And so I went on there specifically for that, and Isaiah, Ian, and Aaron and I all met up in Pocahontas, Arkansas, witnessed my second eclipse. I got 2, and I've been chasing them since about '01 was when I figured out I could actually go chase down some eclipses. And I've been successful both times. What else? I tried to go, think, what have you done for the last year? If you just sit around and think, there's a lot of things that probably happen. Some mundane, some not. I'm still doing half a week at the drugstore, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. I quit drinking coffee. It was giving me terrible reflux and indigestion. And it was not the caffeine. Diet Dr. Pepper. No sponsorship involved. Bandit! Little Bandit, in case you didn't know, he's an epileptic. He started having seizures 2 a day. So we've got him quickly medicated. After about a week of 2 a day grand mal seizures, we got him on some phenobarbital. But I knew when I bought him, he was kind of a deformed midget-looking specimen of an Australian cattle dog. But we love him, and he has the right kind of attitude. Very intelligent. He got problems. He's eccentric. He fits in well around here. I've caught up on some projects that I've been thinking about making for a long time. So that's one thing I did in the downtime when I wasn't doing internet, pharmacy, or teaching paramotor. I built a precision grader for the yard, custom-built binocular chair. If you don't know what that is, I upgraded the prescription furnace for the 6th iteration, but I got that thing blasting prescriptions into oblivion now. I don't know what you call it. It's an A-frame metal rack on casters. Metal bar stock comes in 20-foot joints, pieces, all different shapes and sizes, oil well pipes, square tube, round tube, straight bar. It all comes in big lengths if you buy it down at the steel store. It's always on the floor in the way, and I'm tripping over it in the shop. So for years, I've been thinking about doing this project, and I came across some industrial rollers, from a factory. And they're 5-6 feet long, and I cut a couple of them down into 1 foot lengths, and I welded up some frames. It was just a matter of cutting and weld. It took me a day to build it, but I built a rolling metal rack with helping hands, when you roll it into the saw, and I built it all so that it was level with my cut table. And I've got a whole system now for throwing a piece of stock down, rolling it into the saw, and chopping that sucker off with, if efficiency and vigor, and I like it. So I built that. Oh, I probably fixed 100 things. I don't even want to go in the list of the things I've fixed, from doorknobs to flood damage. Oh, this past year brought with it 3 biblical flood events, over 5 inches of rain each time at once. I took some pictures of the damage. This is what that kind of looks like. Oh man, so I fielded it again with rocks in the field line. I had to replumb the field line in the back 40. It was bubbling up in front of the barn, the end of the field line. Bought some rock, rented a backhoe, got that did. I know Bandit's capacity for red meat, dead cow that is 2 ribeye steaks.
Ribeye steaks. Dang it.
Yeah, he stole 2 ribeye steaks, and he always stole 4 of them, and he ate 2. He left 2. Summer brought with it no less than ridiculous level heat and heat indices, and the heat was, Bandit, stop digging up the damn flower bed. I know I ain't got flowers, but it was hot. It was hot this summer. It was so hot that me and my son and his friend Wyatt up and bailed to Colorado, and I brought the paramotor, actually disassembled it, because we were living 3 deep in my little trailer. We built beds, everybody had a bed, and the trailer was all bed and a doorway, and that was it. And so when you got in the trailer, you got in your bed. It was submarine rules. But we've gallivanted around Colorado for a solid 10 days, and I got to explore some places and see some old friends and do some things that were way less temperature than here. And once again, Aaron met up with us. He was in Oregon, came over to Colorado, and we hung out for a few days and did some hiking and some hanging out and some camping. Always fun hanging out with my guy Aaron and I. Before we left, I told Ian's friend Wyatt. Ian asked if Wyatt could come with us. They're best friends. So I was like, well, of course. I know his family. Before we left, he had never been flying either. He's asked me a few times, hinted about it. So we balanced out a tandem rig, and before we left, we set up the gear, made sure it was all well balanced, and for me and him, knew where to hook in and set all that up. Grabbed a tandem glider, and we ended up launching off of a 14,000 foot mountain at about the 12,000 foot mark. That was I guess my first free flight tandem, maybe. So that was a hoot. But I never flew the paramotor. I never flew the paramotor. It's mostly about camping and just hanging out with the kids, beating the heat. That was all that trip was really about. It wasn't so much a paramotor adventure. We did some hiking. We hiked up to a 12,500 foot summit. There's thin up there. It's hard to hike. It was noticeable hypoxic effects in effect. Fast forward into the fall. SpaceX. I've been waiting to make a pilgrimage down there to Starbase in South Texas. You know what that is? Elon Musk. I know he's pretty famous. So anyway, Elon Musk. I'm a big fan of his SpaceX program in general. I went and saw Falcon 9 launch and booster return with my son, and just the technology marvel of it all is amazing. And I've been keeping up with the Starship program since its inception. From a mild enthusiast amateur standpoint, I'm a rocket nerd. I was trying to catch a booster return, like when they caught it with the chopsticks. I saw the first one. It was Flight 5, I think. Dang, I can't remember. They've done a couple since then. I think it may have been Flight 5, where they caught the booster the first time. And my son Isaiah went down there. And now, I did bring the paramotor for that field trip, and I flew that sucker at South Padre Island all day long in the high winds. And boy, I had a good time. I didn't film any of it, I don't think. There's probably a couple pictures. I don't know. Yeah, it was just a recreational flying. I was just flying my paramotor at the beach. People kept coming up trying to rent it from me. Like, how much you rent? Like, no. There was also a helicopter, and we were making laps around each other the whole day. I only got in his rotor once. I felt it. And then after he realized we were both flying at the beach, he gave me a little more room on his upwind. There's a restricted area down there by the Starbase that you can't fly near. They got a big blimp that measures the wind, so there's a TFR in effect. But we both knew where the line in the sand was, and we were both flying right up next to it and then turning around And it was just a limited spot that you could fly safely. So anyway, did beach flying down at the Star Base, and we got up early the next morning and saw the rocket launch and the booster catch, and I took some really, really shitty video. Most of it was just of my leg because I was staring at the thing. I should have just not videoed it at all because they release all the high-def footage after the fact. Close-ups, cameras on the rocket. Like, who cares if you've got the baddest camera in the world and you're 4 miles away when they've got one, 20 yards from it. Now, I say internet in a sort of a slang fashion. I've been going online. I still do my weather checks. I peruse some websites. As far as social media, basically Reddit. That's about it. That's about all I've but it's social media in the sense that you don't know all the people that you're communicating with. That's something that I like about Reddit. The last two things, and probably the two hardest things that I'm doing, one of them being more risky than the other. I'll start with the first thing. Around the end of October, I've always noticed that there were crows. There were crows hanging out in my yard. And this may require its whole separate video. If you want to stop here and not hear about this, I'll probably make another video just about the crows. But I wanted to make friends with the crows. Something that I've thought about for many years, since I heard a story about someone 20 years ago made friends with crows and they brought gifts and jewelry, things like that, little trinkets and bottle caps to the person. Well, I thought maybe I can make friends with a crow. And so again, it wasn't something I planned on. I just looked out there one day and noticed there were crows in my field. So I started watching them. I pulled my binoculars out and I was just I'm 150 yards away from these things. They'll get that close to you. You can do pretty much whatever you want besides yell at them, throw something at them, and they'll be fine. But I was just watching them, see what they're doing. And I noticed they were picking through the horse manure. And I guess they're eating shit bugs. I'm not sure. Maybe some undigested grains from the horses. They were eating something in the horse poop. And I got a lot of horse poop because we got some horses out here. So I noticed they were hanging out anyway. I did a quick Google search, like, what do crows like to eat? What's a favorite treat of theirs? It's all over the board. They'll eat anything. Crows are not particularly picky, but probably the biggest vote and my favorite option is roasted, unsalted peanuts in the shell. They go bonkers for those things. I'll make another story about the whole process of making friends with the crows, but I've made friends with some local crows. They come to my house every day. In the morning, we meet at sunrise. That's a time during the fall that I'm home every day, even if I have to do pharmacy work. I'm not doing paramotor school at sunrise because the weather's usually crappy and school's closed during the winter. It was before the end of school, but I had gaps in the training and we weren't doing a lot of morning activities. So I just decided to commit to it. Go feed them. Okay, I'm getting into the story because it was on my mind. Coming soon, a crow video. I'll make a crow video about how I befriended these crows, and one in particular. So that's an interesting thing, but I'm going to skip it. And then the last thing that I've really sort of picked up since my ejection from the cockpit of the interwebs and social media was I started climbing trees, like with ropes, harnesses, and different techniques. I learned to tie a bunch of knots. I practiced knots for several weeks, and this was around my Christmas present time. I did Christmas, and I was like, I want some climbing gear. That's something I don't have. It's something I've always been curious about. I've got some knowledge with cordage and harnesses due to the nature of my paramotor school, and I've studied on splices, for tow line, and cordage is cordage, whether it's big or small or rated or different. You got different sort of things, static, dynamic. Again, a whole topic by itself. But I've picked up tree climbing, and I actually don't have any content. This is a self-teaching thing. I know it's dangerous, and everybody frowns upon the paramotor community for doing it. But I'm also a man of, learning things. And I may pick up a resource one day, but I'm already doing it. I'm already doing simple climbs with known techniques and gear that is full of disclaimers. Everything is disclaimed in the climbing industry. It's like, that's okay. Anything about climbing anything is a disclaimer at first. and then you go do it. So I've just been going and doing it. I'm doing arborist type work, trimming trees with chainsaws and, yeah, scary, dangerous, risky stuff. But, believe it or not, I've got years experience as a lumberjack. I've been felling trees since my teens. I took on a lumberjack job as a teen and cut trees all summer. So I said years of experience. I've got a summer of experience, professional tree cutting for money, and then years and years and decades of experience of just felling trees at my own personal property and around wherever I've been. It's just something I've done. I've done at different jobs, not with any consistency, but anyway, combining the two is not a stretch. I'm well experienced with chainsaws, and I'm learning about climbing, and I'm doing it. It's twofold. It's exercise for both the mind and mostly the body, right? Because it's a lot of hard work climbing trees, swinging around on ropes, and throwing things and moving stuff around. It's quite the exercise, just as I hoped it would be. And that's been since when I start climbing trees. First, about 3 weeks. I've been climbing trees for 3 weeks, and I've probably climbed and trimmed 10 to 12 right now. I'm up to the point where I'm losing count. I'm not keeping up with it. Just every good day, when it's not just nasty weather and not bitter cold, I will go climb one tree and trim it and take care of it. Unless it's a day that I have to do other work. I'm caught up on the laundry. Maybe I'll make some tree climbing content. I don't know that I would vlog it and do it, because that'd be distracting. And I'm still a new guy doing that, and I want to be focused. And if I'm doing things like pictures and cameras, then I'm not focused on what I'm doing. I kind of block out all other things when I'm doing a tree climb and a tree project, and I'm not even worried about if anybody knows or cares. But I just, I kind of felt guilty about just aborting the true Kylo fans, the ones who reached out. A lot of people thought something was wrong. I guess that might have been the thought, myself, if somebody just vanished up and uprooted, and, I'm sorry about that, but I knew that if I ever went back on there and did it, it would just, continue the cycle. A week was a week. That was nice. A month was a month. That felt good. And I just thought, I wonder if I can do it for a year. As the people were calling, I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Still doing paramotor school. Still doing pharmacy. Still living the Kylo lifestyle the way that I always have. Summer travel, winter travel. I didn't travel this winter because there was nowhere to travel. It got cold here. It got cold everywhere. I just wanted to do maybe a staycation this winter. But this was just a recap. This is just something that I wanted to put out there for the people that did care and don't know and give two flips. I know this is not the kind of content that is going to be satisfactory for everybody, but I don't care. I don't care. And that's always been the fact. Now, maybe I cared a little at one point, just when when the channel started growing and people really started paying attention. I never expected that, and it was not something that I was aiming for. I didn't care if the channel got big. It didn't matter. The channel is my name. It's not, Kylo PPG or whatever. It turned into a lot of paramotor content because I was able to vlog that while I did that quite easily. And it allowed me to learn how to manipulate video and do edits. And, mission accomplished. I've been able to learn these things and do these things. Crows are back. I keep looking over here, and the crows are coming to see what I'm doing and see what kind. I got some treats close. Yeah, there's a lot of crow activity when I'm kind of downtime at the house. But hey, I just wanted to do this, and I wanted to take the whole year. I guess it's been about a year. Y'all probably know better than I do, but it was around spring, January, February, that I just kind of decided, you know what, I'm gonna take some time off of these social apps and things and just do other stuff. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. It's nothing was bad. Nothing was terrible going on. My hands are numb. Holding this. It's cold out here. It's probably 40. Oh, that hand is completely numb. Holding it up in the air. This video has gone on far too long. If you've made it this long, God bless you. I'm sorry. I was going to do that and say much love, Kyle out, but it hurt so bad to move my hand after holding that phone for 20 minutes. Oh, anyhow, much love, y'all. Kyle out.